So if you've been looking for a new 45 pistol to buy, there is no other place to look than this video right here. We have set up some of the best 45 options for you, and today we're going to talk about which 45 should you choose, or which 45 is best for you. Haven't figured out the title yet, but that's pretty much what we're going to talk about today. And like I said, we have some good options, and we're going to talk about comparisons, what these guns are good at, what they're not so good at, and which one you should choose depending on what you need it for. So I'm out, and thank you to our Patreons, man. We love you guys. If you want to support the channel, $1, you can do it and help us out. So thank you guys for everything. Let's go ahead and get started. So like I said, we have a little bit of a mixture of everything. Keep in mind, there's a lot of 45 options out there, but this gives us a good overview of the kind of guns that you can expect in this field here. So starting with the original, I think that is only fitting here, the Smith & Wesson 1911, but just the 1911 in general. What this gun is good at. This is a range beast. Okay, so when you take this gun to the range, maybe you're really not that good at shooting. This gun is going to make you look like a good shooter. That's not guaranteed, by the way. I'm just saying. The trigger, sights, everything on this gun just lend itself really well to being such an awesome shooter. Show you the trigger here really quick. Make sure we're clear. You have just a little bit of a take up and it breaks. And that trigger is to really die for. Reset. And that's really what makes these guns unique, is that trigger, all steel frame, really a showpiece in a way, but if you decide to take it to the range, you're going to have a good time. Capacity, 7+1 in the chamber. On this one is actually 8+1 in the chamber, but really 7-8 rounds in a 1911 is pretty much all you're going to get. So if you're looking for high capacity, you're not going to get it here, but if you're looking for something that just shines at the range, that's what you're really getting. This 1911 has dual thumb safeties there. You gotta rack the slide, and this gun is tight, really tight. So it's designed to be carried, cocked, and locked. This is not exactly a good carry gun either because of that weight. You have an all steel frame. Now this one's a little bit different too. You have a rail here, so it's more of a tactical 1911 version, but it's still, to its core, has that nice trigger, and it's a really nice 1911. Nice pair of night sights there from Smith & Wesson. They do a really nice job with their night sights. Peephole, so you could see around down in the chamber. Nice E-Series grips, which kind of carry over that fish scale style serration onto the grip, which looks really nice. I mean, this is a gun that you want to show off to your friends or whoever. You know, you just pull it out of the box and it just looks so awesome. Love the black finish, stainless steel components, parts, lifetime warranty through Smith. It's also kind of pricey. MSRP is $1,400. Most of the time you can find them around $12, but it's not exactly the cheapest 45 out there. But if you want something that is like the original, that is really highly respected among, I mean, there's like a cult following for 1911s. There really is. And there's a good reason, because they are just awesome shooters. So if you're looking for the best shooter on the range, something you can pick up and have a great time with, this is going to be your gun. If you're looking for a carry gun, maybe even home defense, because of the lack of the magazine capacity, might not be the best option for you. Now, when we're talking about magazine capacity, if that's really important with you and you want the ultimate zombie gun, you might want to take a look at the F&X 45 Tactical. Now, with these other options, there are other guns like it. It's just a coincidence, by the way, that we have 3 Smith & Wessons on the table. I did not set that up on purpose, but pretty much there's other guns like these others. There's really none other like the F&X 45 Tactical. The reason being is you have 15 rounds of 45 on tap ready to go. Again, not a cheap option, right around $1,000, you know, but like I said, you really are not going to find anything like this. It's already cut out for an RMR. Suppressor height night sights on this one. All right, threaded barrel, so it is ready for a suppressor if that's something that's important to you. Some of these other options, I know this 1911 you cannot get threaded. This really, none of these other options are threaded. at least the options that we're showing here. There are, of course, other guns that you can get a threaded barrel or they come threaded from the factory, but none of these are except for the FNX 45 Tactical. So if that's really important to you, this may be one of your options that you want to look at. Ambidextrous features all the way around, magazine release on both sides, safety and decocker. So it's a dual function. There's your decocker. If you carry a cocked and lock, that's not really how this gun is designed to be carried, but if you do that, you do have your safety there. So that's an option. Front and rear slide serrations, and this gun is big. I mean, really, even just compared to the 1911, put them kind of slide to slide there, you can see the barrel is really what's sticking out. But when you put them down on their backs, kind of give you an idea how big this gun is. 8+1, 15+1. So really, the fact that they squeezed 7 more rounds out of the magazine is actually really impressive. But of course, you're talking about single stack and double stack, and that of course is the benefit, double stack. What you'll see though is the size of the grip and the width. This gun is the behemoth of 45s, and that's the price that you pay, is that extra width, weight, and length. Picatinny rail. This gun is built for the range. It's built for home defense. That is where it shines. Now, to me, this gun is nowhere near the shooter that this one is. Okay, so not quite sure. I haven't really figured this whole thing out with the FNX 45 Tactical. I'm not the best shot with this, admittedly. I don't know if it's the sights or what's going on, but I'm just not there with this gun like I am, honestly, with the rest of these. Even the M&P 45 Shield, I feel like I'm a better shot with that gun than this gun, and this one is much bigger. I'm just not the best shot with this gun. You might be, your miles may vary, everybody's does, but when it comes to just pure brute force and capacity and just built for pretty much anything, this gun is where it's at. To me, much better shooter at the range in the 1911, but if you need rounds and you need a lot of them, the FNX 45 Tactical may be a good option for you. Great gun for the range, great gun for competition, and like I said, it just has a lot of rounds, a lot of options too. You can run it suppressed right from the factory, which is always cool, and it comes with a lot of goodies too. So if you want to run an RMR or anything like that, it comes with extra plates and all of that good stuff. Now let's say, all right, hey, well, I want something that's good at the range. I want something I can use inside the house, but I also want to possibly carry it. Your best option on the table is going to be the Smith & Wesson M&P 45 M2.0. This is the new version, and where this gun shines is the fact that you do get 10 rounds of 45 on tap, 10+1, of course. So more rounds than your 1911, 5 less rounds than your FNX 45 Tactical, but what you'll find is a much smaller gun overall. If we just put them slide to slide, you can see how much shorter it is. Where you're really going to save is that grip length, okay? So if you're thinking about carrying this gun, this is much easier to hide than this right here, okay? That inch and a quarter maybe makes all the difference inside the waistband, and you're also talking about 40 ounces unloaded compared to 27 ounces unloaded. That's a big difference inside the waistband. Also, since we're doing comparisons in weight, this one is over 40 ounces, metal frame, of course, 27 ounces. So if you're thinking about carrying and you want that mixture of a good range and carry option, this might be the way to go. It does come with two 10-round magazines, upgraded trigger, much better than the original. You do have a Picatinny rail here, so if you want to put a light or a laser, front and rear slide serrations, peephole down there so you can see your brass down in the chamber, and really a respectable pair of metal sights that come from the factory. I really like the sights that Smith & Wesson does on this gun. Now, one thing you're going to lack is you're not going to have your magazine release is not fully ambidextrous, but for left-handed shooters, you can reverse that. And of course, there is no safety on this version, but you can get them with the safety if you choose to do so. And a much more aggressive grip than the original, which does a great job of keeping this gun locked into your hand. Keep in mind, if you're going to carry this gun, first of all, get a good holster, get a good gun belt. We recommend holster. That's what we carry, Core Essentials gun belts. Those two things combined are going to make a huge difference as far as carrying. And also, with this gun in particular, make sure you wear a shirt in between your skin and this grip. If not, it's going to tear you up. I warned you in advance. All right. But just a good overall mix of a range gun, home defense, and something that you can actually carry without dragging your pants down, because even something like this with a good holster and good gun belt, you're going to feel that weight, and you're going to have a hell of a time trying to hide those guns inside the waistband. What if you're just looking at a 45 option, you don't like 9 maybe, or maybe you have too many 9s. Maybe you don't like 40, which I completely understand, and you want a 45 option to carry. The Smith & Wesson M&P Shield is going to be a great option. Holster, discounted through our channel, by the way, if you're interested. But the 45 Shield, this is what started the M2.0 launch, really. They don't have M2.0 stamped onto the side of the gun, but they were really lacking a 45 option in the Shield lineup anyway, so they came out with these upgraded options, upgraded trigger, front and rear slide serrations, and the grip texturing, which you can tell is very close, essentially the same. And that's really what launched the changes in this gun right here. You definitely have a nice pair of sights, pretty much the same sights that come on the M2.0 45 compact. A little bit less aggressive though. You don't have as much of a shelf there to do one-handed reloads, but pretty much all the features from here are transferred to the bigger option in a much smaller package. Flip these around here. You have a single stack 45 option on the left, and you can tell how much thinner that is. And really, this is a thin 45 option, which is really nice for inside the waistband. Slide to slide, much shorter, but really where you're going to save and where you're going to be paying the most amount of difference to is this right here. That extra inch makes all the difference carrying the gun, makes it so much more easy to conceal and just carry in general. Now, where you're going to be lacking in this gun, you only have 6 rounds. So 6 plus 1 in the chamber, you're going to lose 4 rounds right off the bat. So if that's worth it to you, because you're carrying, which, you know, it makes a huge difference, that's really where you're going to have to make the decision. Because this compared to this inside the waistband, even with a good holster and a gun belt, you're going to notice that difference, no doubt. This is much easier to carry, much easier to have on your side 8 to 10 hours a day, whatever it is. Front and rear slide serrations, we talked about that. And you're also going to lose your option for a rail, okay, or a light laser rail mounted option. There are some trigger mounted options for your light and laser you can do, but you know, I'd rather carry an extra flashlight or carry a flashlight on me than have that extra bulkiness on the gun. And then, of course, in your grip. So whenever you're taking this thing to the range, it's an awesome shooter, but of course it's not nearly as awesome as this gun right here. You have a full grip, you have more rounds, not as much reloading. So when it comes to the range, this is not going to be the best option, but it will be the best carry option. Now, like I said, there's a lot of guns in these categories, but this gives you a good idea of what to expect. And really, it's going to come down to you. What do you need? Do you need a home defense? Do you want a range piece and something you can show off? Do you want a mixture of both? Or do you strictly want a carry gun, a carry 45? To me, the M&P 45 gives you a little bit of everything. But it's hard to argue with that 1911 and that trigger, especially when you're at the range. So it depends on what you need. That's the 45. That's the options. That's the things that you should consider if you're looking at getting a new 45. If I missed anything down below, or I missed any extra guns that are not on this list that you think should be here, let me know down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.